Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
We will not take the bait or engage in saber rattling. We will not be intimidated.
We have lost 30 Kentuckians. It's going to take years to rebuild.
The United States did not seek this war against terror. It came to us. We answered with the same principles and resolve that have shaped us for generation upon generation.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome back in. It is News and Views. Tom, Benny, Clark, and you, and lots to talk about. I'm trying to figure out exactly what President Pelosi and what's the big threat over there. I got it wrong. I've said on more than one occasion I thought they would do a fly around Taiwan and not land there, and they'd come up with some excuse. But she landed, and China apparently is now planning on surrounding the island of Taiwan with military vessels. But it's hard to figure out. I mean, now I understand, we were looking it up before we went on the air, the one China policy was implemented back in 1979. And basically it says, okay, we're going to view China as one. At the same time, back in 79, they were saying, but we're not saying that communist China rules Taiwan. They're two separate things, but we look at it as a one China policy. Today, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi made it to Taiwan. During a daily briefing at the White House, National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications John Kirby stressed that nothing has changed with the U.S. policy towards China, that Biden does not support Taiwan's independence. He also falsely claimed there's been no drama with the Pelosi trip. Again, there's been some drama there. The world has seen the United States government be very clear that nothing has changed. Nothing has changed about our one China policy, which is, of course, guided by the Taiwan Relations Act, the 3 joint U.S. PRC communiques, and the 6 assurances, Kirby said. We have repeatedly said that we oppose any unilateral changes in the status quo from either side. We have said that we do not support Taiwan independence, and we have said that we expect cross-strait differences to be resolved by peaceful means. Is that naive? I'd say probably. They're just speaking out of both sides of the mouth. I mean, as we speak, there is a bill being considered in the Senate. It's been read twice. It was introduced by Menendez of New Jersey and Senator Graham of South Carolina just about less than 60 days ago. It was introduced. It's called the Taiwan Policy Act of 2022. And it's the large type print, but it's still about 100 pages. But I'm just skimming through it, amongst other things. And again, this is not law, but this is a law being proposed by these 2 senators. It is the policy of the United States, it says, to support the security of Taiwan, the stability of cross-strait relations, and the freedom of people of Taiwan to determine their own future and to strenuously oppose any actions by the People's Republic of China to use force to change the status quo of Taiwan. It goes on to say the Taiwan Relations Act has enabled the people of the United States and the people of Taiwan to maintain strong, important relations that promotes regional security, prosperity, and shared democratic values. The security of Taiwan and the ability of the people of Taiwan to determine their own future is fundamental to the United States and values. I mean, again, does that sound like a one China policy? If obviously there's a lot of different signals being put out there by the United States. I don't know how communist China would interpret it, and I'm not sure how Taiwan would interpret it. I mean, they welcomed the the Speaker of the House to Taiwan. Apparently they're selling duty-free liquor there at the Taiwanese airport, so she's probably going to stock up and maybe get some extra Polident.
Well, that's the only place Nancy Pelosi visited in. We were talking about it before air. I've never believed that between the executive and legislative branch when it deals with foreign relations, I think everybody needs to be singing off the same sheet of music. I mean, yeah, Congress can disagree, and that's the reason you got balances of power. But what purpose is this trip for Nancy Pelosi to go to Taiwan? I mean, first of all, with her limited cognitive ability, I mean, in all seriousness, what is she going to accomplish? I mean, maybe some of her aides or some business people that has sweetened her pockets maybe have gone over there with her. She's cutting some deals or something. But from a diplomatic perspective, she could do nothing but embarrass the United States. The same with Joe Biden. Yeah. And I just heard last night, just flipping channels, whether it was CNN, Fox News, whatever channel you want to go to, Democrats and Republicans alike, to me, saber rattling, talking about, hey, we got to show China this, show China that. Well, these people that want to show China this, I damn guarantee would be the last person that would back up and take a M16 and defend this freaking country. And I'm tired of these politicians in Washington, D.C. putting our young people at risk for this. Just stay the hell out of Taiwan. That's my opinion. And
our founding fathers made it very clear that we need to be extremely hesitant and careful before we get involved in the affairs of other nations.
Yeah.
And it's always sort of been, okay, is this in our national interest, and that not just casually national interest, but is it vitally important? Are we going to somehow lose our freedoms if we get involved or don't get involved in this other nation's affairs? And I think in one hand, Donald Trump was absolutely right when he said, "Look, I mean, I know we've got the North Atlantic Treaty and all that, but in NATO." Donald Trump was absolutely right when he said, "Look, you guys are going to have to pay your fair share. You don't look at us and expect us to bail you out." And much of the rest of the world is looking to the United States as, well, if we get in trouble, the United States will come bail us out. And who's going to bail us out? Because we're on the brink right now of needing to be bailed out. So I would agree that we need to be very careful, and I also agree with you that. There are a lot of conservative Republicans that are jumping in there and with both feet and saying, "Yeah, go Nancy Pelosi, go." You get in there and you show the China folks, that the communist China folks that we mean business. Do we mean business? I mean, we're sitting here discussing where does the United States stand on Taiwan. I can't figure it out, and again, the communist Chinese are probably over there saying, "Okay." We can't figure it out either. The last time a speaker visited Taiwan was Newt Gingrich back in 1997. So it's been 25 years since a United States Speaker of the House has been to Taiwan.
Yeah, and I read an article last night. I don't know what significance this is, but he went to Taiwan after a trip to Japan. So he left Japan and went to Taiwan. I mean, I don't, the article, this is an old article from 25 years ago, kind of making a big deal about the significance of that. I don't know why that's really significant. I mean, planes can go where they want to, but you've got Republicans and Democrats and Joe Biden. All of a sudden, everybody wants to take this big tough position on China. Well, you sure hadn't taken a tough position. The Biden family. Yeah. The Biden family has benefited from what's going on with China. They're in bed with everything in the world with China, with all Hunter's dealings. But then you've got congressmen on both sides of the aisle for years have always been soft on China. Honestly, I think it's the Democrats' midterms play to take the eye off the obvious. The economy stinks. Yep. The United States is broke. Inflation is runaway. Interest rates are starting to. I mean, in the first time since 1980, we're in a position of stagflation. Yeah. And I think it's just an attempt of the Democrats with midterms coming up just to take America's eye off of what's really going on, what I think.
So what did Joe taking out the Al-Qaeda operative yesterday and going on and bragging about it last night?
He was a tough guy, wasn't he? Big tough guy in his address.
And that was just more of the same. That was what you just said. This is basically a wag the dog. Hey, we're going to take the eye off the stinking economy, and we're going to come across as really being tough on the bad guys. Good luck with that. Don't think it's going to fly.
I mean, I'm sure with the CIA, it's been in the works, and probably very little briefings to the White House. It's been in the works for weeks until probably, if it wasn't for things going so bad, I could see Joe Biden, because, heck, Joe Biden disagreed with taking Osama bin Laden out under Obama administration.
Yeah.
People forget that. It wasn't talked about too much because, the press isn't going to talk about it, but he was against Osama bin Laden being taken out. If it weren't for the fact that, he couldn't tell you he probably couldn't tell you who the guy was just because his cognitive decline. But if things were going better in the United States, he'd probably say, nah.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to do anything.
I guarantee you the discussion wasn't not about the safety of our military or the safety of the people over there or retaliation because this guy's a despot. It was all about how's this going to affect the midterms.
It was. I guarantee you, behind the scenes, I bet 90% of the conversation was political optics of doing it or not doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee you.
100%.
Yeah.
Sad story to report. WITN News, along with other media outlets, are reporting a Wayne County deputy. Well, we reported yesterday 3 deputies were shot yesterday down outside of Goldsboro while trying to deliver papers to commit a individual by the name of Jordan Hamilton. 3 deputies were shot. One of those deputies has passed away. It was actually Sergeant Matthew Fishman, passed away at ECU Medical Center this morning. The sergeant was one of 3 deputies injured, and they were attempting, as I said, to serve those papers. 10-hour standoff. SWAT team finally found the 23-year-old man, Jordan Hamilton, dead inside his home of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. Just before 2 p.m., Deputy Alexander Torres was released from the Greenville Hospital. The 27-year-old deputy was being escorted by about 24 law enforcement vehicles. At last report, Corporal Andrew Cox, who was 37, was in stable condition still at ECU Health. Now, yesterday, the early reports were one of the 3 deputies was at a hospital down in the Goldsboro area. I'm assuming that they transferred him up to Greenville later in the day. Just say a prayer for this family, the Fishman family. The governor has ordered all flags at state facilities be lowered to half staff in honor of Sergeant Fishman. The SBI is looking into the shooting.
Yeah, and as I understand it from friends in law enforcement, he leaves behind a wife and 2 young children, and it's just sad what our law enforcement officers face every day. And it seems like the majority of people in America now is critical of law enforcement, and not that they're perfect. Yeah, they're going to make mistakes, but they make more things right, do more things right than things wrong, and it just to realize, I mean, this is happening. I mean, this seems like the news every day somewhere in the United States, and I think this issue was regarding an involuntary committal, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And I know situations like that in domestic situations are always the most dangerous and the ones that they fear the most and that are so unpredictable.
So where are all the protesters demanding that something be done with these police shootings? I know I'm being sarcastic here, but I mean, when someone is involved in a conflict that turns violent with police officers, and a person dies who's going against the police officers, how often the police officers are immediately vilified that they responded too soon. Well, here you have 3 deputies that were shot, and one has lost his life. Mm-hmm. When these, again, it is so easy for these critics to play armchair quarterback, to go in and say, why did you do that? You could have done so many different other things. The individual that was shot and killed up in Elizabeth City last year. Yeah. And again, trying to arrest him for illegal drug activity.
Yeah, been charged in the past with dealing fentanyl and other drugs.
Yeah. And yet, it so glibly accused the police officers. These police officers, and again, this is probably something. In fact, I heard reports yesterday afternoon that this is or I guess it was this morning, this was pretty cut and dry. That, normally this is not a big deal. To send 3 officers out to, serve these papers, and it 99 times out of 100, or probably 999 times out of 1,000, it's not a big deal. But you never know when it's going to become a big deal. And now we've got an officer who's lost his life, a wife who's lost her husband, and 2 little kids who lost their daddy. So say a prayer for the Fishman family. Let's go ahead and take a time out. Do want to talk about some interesting things coming out of the University of Chapel Hill, North Carolina's university, and concerning this affirmative action case that's going to end up at the United States Supreme Court. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Got a trade? Then get to Greenville Toyota. We're out to buy 500 local trades, and we'll buy you out with our best offer. Or trade in for a new Toyota and get our Greenville Advantage with no-cost lifetime maintenance and more. Don't miss the trade buyout at Greenville Toyota.
Hey, we're at Maribella's in Greenville, the new location of Maribella's on Fire Tower Road. If you haven't been to this place yet, let me tell you, you are missing out. I want to introduce my friends from Maribella's. I've got Sal, Massimo, and Pietro here. These guys are awesome. Not only do they make great food, they do a lot of things for the community, which we're going to be talking about. But Sal, let's start with you. Let's talk about the new location of Maribella's on Fire Tower Road. I'm a regular here. I love it. You guys call it Old World Pizza. Tell us what's different about your pizza.
Well, we got 2 kinds of pizzas. We have the traditional, American style, and then we have the Old World Pizza, which is made with fresh mozzarella, and the way they do it in Italy.
Massimo, when you talk about doing this food right, it's authentic. And when I talk about authentic, you grew up in Italy, so you grew up with this food. You know how to make it.
Yeah, because we grew up in Italy, we know the ingredients, and everything we do from scratch. And the right ingredient it's been hard for us to bring over here. And now finally we can get the right ingredient to make a right pizza.
All right, now I'm going to talk to my friend Pietro here at Maribella's. He's got the Nino's shirt on today. We're going to talk about Nino's, which is another great dining experience, upscale dining experience, on another segment upcoming. But Pietro, let's talk about Maribella's. For people who've never been to Maribella's, what's the experience going to be like when they come here? Not only pizzas, but pastas, salads, sandwiches, you got it all.
Yes, we do. We have new sandwiches that we put in this new location, and we're going to spread it to the other locations.
The guys here at Maribella's have won national pizza competitions, so you know it's good. Thanks to Sal, Massimo, and Pietro. Folks, do yourself a favor. Come to the new Maribella's here on Fire Tower Road in Greenville, or Maribella's on Greenville Boulevard, or Maribella's in Washington on Carolina Avenue. Also, don't forget upscale dining at Nino's on Red Banks Road.
It pays to pre-order at Greenville Toyota. Camrys, Corollas, Tundras, RAV4s, Highlanders, and more are on the way. Pre-order yours today. Plus, get more for your trade. It pays to pre-order at Greenville Toyota.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
This is your Drive at 5 and ENC with Tom Lamprecht. Welcome back to News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome back in. August the 2nd, National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. Why? Yeah, I noticed it's never National Broccoli Day or National Spinach Day. It's always
what is it? Was it no good story ever starts with a salad or something like that? National Salad Day.
I am getting old. 32 years ago today. I mean, that's half a lifetime. It's almost half my lifetime. Not quite, almost though. 32 years ago today. What do you think happened? Made worldwide news.
What is that? Gosh,
1990.
1990. It would have probably been. Let's see. We invaded Kuwait. Let's see. Kuwait.
Well, you're close.
That was.
You're close.
Kuwait was in the January of like 91.
1990. Saddam Hussein led Iraq's army into Kuwait shortly before dawn. Iraqi troops captured the governor's palace there, other government buildings. The Iraqis were driven out in January of 1991 by Operation Desert Storm. Norm Schwarzkopf.
Stormin' Norman.
Yeah. He was the hero of the day. I guess that's what elevated, I quickly forget, the black general that was Secretary of State.
Colin Powell.
Colin Powell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember the date because I remember it was January because I was in a bar in it's Snowshoe, West Virginia, snow skiing.
Oh, okay.
And when it hit, and I remember what was the guy with CNN? Bernard Shaw.
Yeah, the black guy.
Yeah,
he was up in the hotel.
Yeah, doing the reports up under the table and all that kind of stuff
as they're getting bombarded. Yeah.
That kind of put CNN on the map. They kind of were laughable before.
Where's Bernard Shaw now? Is he still alive?
I think he passed away. I think.
Okay. Weather and your Bernard Shaw update is brought to you by our friends at the Ironwood Golf and Country Club. Whether you're looking to spend your summer poolside, courtside, or greenside, Ironwood Golf and Country Club offers a variety of memberships tailored to fit your lifestyle with no initiation fee required. And remember, if you're headed to the beach this summer, pack your clubs because Ironwood members receive reciprocal golf and dining privileges at the Beaufort Club in Beaufort and Compass Point Golf Club and Magnolia Greens located near Wilmington. More information, contact Membership Director Jenna Doyle. Her number is 252-752-4653. Join in on the fun at Ironwood today, a part of the Renaissance Golf Group.
Bernard Shaw out of CNN is alive. I'm sorry, but he's 82 years old.
You're sorry?
Well, we said he was No, he said he's passed away.
You're sorry you said he was passed away.
I'm sorry I put him in his grave too soon.
Okay.
But I didn't realize he served in the Marines in Vietnam.
Okay. Yeah, that was probably the high water mark for CNN. Quickly went down after that.
Yeah, before that, they were known as the Chicken Noodle Network is what they used to call them. But
then it was the Clinton News Network.
Yeah.
The News and Observer is reporting Governor Roy Cooper and 3 of his predecessors have submitted an amicus brief, that's a friend of the court brief, supporting UNC Chapel Hill in its affirmative action admission case being heard by the United States Supreme Court. The case, which stems from a 2014 lawsuit against UNC, challenges how colleges and universities should consider race in the admissions process, if at all. And by the way, these cases have gone up the flagpole before, and this is the most conservative court, certainly the most conservative Supreme Court that any of these cases have come close to. I really do think UNC and these affirmative action cases, I think, are going to lose with this particular court. The anti-affirmative action group Students for Fair Admission alleges UNC discriminated against white and Asian American applicants by using race when evaluating undergraduate student applications. The group, which is made up of thousands of rejected applicants, prospective students and parents, filed a similar lawsuit against Harvard, which will also be heard by the court. The two cases are in one. I mean, they're not two separate cases. It's one case. Students for Fair Admissions wants race taken out of the admission process, arguing that any consideration of race in education is unconstitutional. So far, UNC has successfully defended its position that race is an important piece of the school's holistic admissions process, but not a dominant factor. And see, I think this is where the truth is very, very fuzzy. Because you can say all you want that it's not the dominant factor, but at the end of the day, if it's not as if all things being equal, we're going to give it to the minority. Generally, it's a non-minority can have very good credentials, all the right boxes checked in terms of how they qualify on their merits, and yet you can have a lesser qualified individual that ends up prevailing in the admission. And that's going to be, I'm sure they're going to come off in this court with some pretty strong evidence that that is the case. UNC has also shown how considering a prospective student's race helps improve a diversity on campus and enhances the academic experience. With the fate of race-conscious admissions at public and private institutions in its hands, this conservative court ruling could alter affirmative action in higher education and the diversity of college campuses across the country. I'll be honest with you, though. The problem is, because this is very similar to what I went through with the FCC, where they're saying that, and in my case, the administrative law judge at the FCC, when they were awarding licenses, said Lamprecht is the best qualified, but he can't overcome the fact that he's a white male. I mean, this guy came out and said this. But and then when we took it to court and we prevailed in court, it went back to the FCC and they said, oh yeah, we understand it was close before and it's closer now, but Lamprecht still loses. And I think this is part of the problem, that a lot of these campuses, regardless of what the court says, they're going to continue in a more stealth manner, but they will continue to do what they've been doing. Quote, our public universities are a training ground for our state workforce, and the next generation of state leaders and government works better when it looks like the people it represents, Governor Cooper said in a statement. So apparently, according to Cooper, if we wanted, the admissions policy to look like the people it represents, apparently we want to look like a bunch of pathetic victims, and instead of victors who make it on the merits.
Clark, do you have the dump button ready just in case? Just in case.
All right. If you got kids in the car, Benny's about ready to speak, so get ready to turn the volume down.
I read that statement by the governor this morning, and I am so dang tired of hearing this out of spineless leaders in government, in big business, and in institutional America, universities, that people think that you need to hire based on people to look like them. That is absolutely bull crap. Excuse me. I can think of a better word, but I won't say it. We might get in trouble with the FCC, speaking of FCC. But
I mean, diversity, we're all human beings.
I mean, like,
we got to have a certain number of bald people, a certain number of 6'2" people, a certain number of 5-foot people. I mean, I
believe in diversity of experiences and qualifications and abilities, but skin color. I mean, and University of North Carolina system and University of North Carolina. I think University of North Carolina needs to look at different geographical areas around the state and around the country, particularly around the state. And if you get people from, say, eastern North Carolina, northeastern North Carolina, you're going to get a good cross-section of people of various colors and mixed races. But to say that people want their government people to look like them, that's saying the governor's saying, okay, person of color, you don't have enough sense to discern somebody's ability on anything other than their skin color. That is the most racist statement that I've ever heard. And I've heard people in this town and big organizations say the same thing on board meetings I've sat on, and that is horse crap.
Well, and it's illegal.
It should be. It is illegal.
It is illegal. If you go and apply for a government job and on the application they say, what race are you? It's illegal. You can't ask that question. So why is it legal for UNC Chapel Hill to ask what race are you? And you got the right checkbox, so we'll let you in. No, you don't have the right checkbox. You can't come in.
Well, several months. Well, I guess it's several months. Yeah, it's been several months ago. Time flies by. But we had current Board of Trustees member Marty Cotis with UNC on our show. He was a Board of Governors member.
He's the one that really brought this up.
Yeah, he brought this issue up, and he was lambasted for it, called a racist throughout the state. Yeah. And he's just stating the fact that, hey, we shouldn't look at skin color. We should look at people's ability and their experiences and their merits. And here the governor's saying that, okay, North Carolinians don't have enough sense to discern that on their own. They want somebody to look like them. And I am so sick and tired of hearing that, because I hear the same thing, whether it be the healthcare field or university field or wherever. They say they want the doctors and nurses to look like that. That is absolute.
Well, let me ask you this. And when it comes to diversity, let's talk about the diversity of the professors at UNC Chapel Hill. Do we have a diversity of libertarians?
Oh, yeah.
Of Republicans, of Democrats, of independents? Where do they fall in? Where are their? Let's talk about the diversity of the political views of the professors at UNC Chapel Hill. Now they'll parade out, the 3% of conservatives that accidentally slipped in and are still teaching there. But where's the diversity in thought of the administration and the faculty at UNC Chapel Hill? I guarantee you it's not too diverse. I guarantee you it is pretty darn liberal.
Well, Governor Cooper's comments here is just another thing. He's taken every move he makes is the DNC playbook, and all they want to do is try to divide people and divide races and divide black people against white people. And that statement just, I mean, that's the Democrat Party of 2022. You know, the UNC system, I guarantee you, UNC Health or ECU Health, I'll say ECU Health as well. If a patient from Eastern North Carolina or Central North Carolina goes to UNC Healthcare or ECU Healthcare, if they're a person of color, I guarantee you when that doctor or nurse walks in there, that's the last damn thing on their mind is what color they are. They want to know, are they a good surgeon?
Bingo. That's
what they want to know. And this crap right here just keeps me pushing by politicians, and it makes me furious if you can't figure that out.
You gave me a little hint there. And we're going to take a time out. When we come back, I want to talk another story about UNC Chapel Hill, the absurd end to Nicole Hannah-Jones' furor. We'll talk about that. And if you think this last story made you ticked, wait for this next one. It's a National Review article. We'll have that when we get back.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
You know that moment when you realize your hair color is way past its prime? Or that you need a change and you hope it comes in the form of perfectly sun-kissed highlights? And at Fantastic Sam's, we offer real salon services at real people prices. Our color specialists can do it all. They make grays disappear, layer in subtle highlights, or help you finally find that perfect shade of red. All for real reasonable prices.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers. Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
Hi, I'm Richard Langley, and after helping my grandmother with an iPad she received as a gift, I realized how many other older adults may also have challenges with their own technology.
Happy Grandma specializes in helping with any tech issue you may be experiencing. Whether it's setting up a new computer or TV, having issues with the printer or Wi-Fi, or showing you how to use your tech, we want to help you. To make it easier, we come directly to you with a smile on our face.
When tech gets tough.
When tech gets tough.
When tech gets tough.
When tech gets tough, get happy.
Happy Grandma Senior Tech Support.
Ride shotgun with your 5 o'clock drive.
Well, the drive home should be a delight.
This is Tom Lamprecht with more news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
I'm looking at headlines from Town Hall. One of the headlines says, "This is not satire. There are actually people out there who think AOC should run for president in 2024. Wow.
I really wish, well, I still don't think there will be a Democrat primary. But if there is a Democrat primary, I hope there's a decent number of Democrats running where where the mainstream media will really challenge him in the Democrat debates, because it will be laughable of how embarrassing it would be for her.
National Review. Author of this article is a guy named George Leaf. The absurd end to the UNC Nicole Hannah Jones furor. Now, you remember the story of Nicole Hannah Jones.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote the 1619 Project. That was what it's called, right?
Yeah, 1619 Project. That was kind of a, well, let's see.
And basically, it said that the United States started at Jamestown and slavery, and that the United States, the whole government of the United States was based on slavery.
People fled Europe because they wanted to come to the United States and have slaves.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's based on.
And then she wrote that, and of course it's fiction. I mean, just total fiction. And the university leaders at North Carolina decided they were going to hire her as a journalism professor. And the job did not come with tenure, which is standard procedure. I mean, she didn't really have a professor background. I mean, she wasn't coming in from a different university. She was working for the New York Times. And
as well as spent some time down in Cuba learning from Castro.
Cuba.
The
bottom line was, she got all huffy, and the board of governors went back and forth on this, but she gets all huffy, and she says, forget it, I'm going to Howard University. That wasn't the end of the story. Her lawyers concocted a lawsuit against UNC Chapel Hill, and UNC Chapel Hill caved with the juicy settlement. In today's Martin Center article, Philip Magnus and James Harrigan write about the settlement. First, as to the initial job offer, the authors observed, quote, while UNC did in fact offer Nicole Hannah Jones a position, which she did in fact accept, there was the devil in the details. The job she accepted did not come with tenure. It came with a 5-year contract with an option for tenure review. Whatever the interior machinations at the Hussman School, this was not an unreasonable offer. Hannah Jones, quite simply, had not done the sort of academic work that tenure rewards. Journalism and academia are two very different animals. A 5-year contract at a major university should have been enough, but the lack of immediate tenure caused Hannah Jones to claim that she was being mistreated. So what about the settlement? UNC will pay her $75,000 not to sue. Far more expensive, however, are the other terms. The authors explain, it turns out that the $75,000 wasn't enough. As a part of her settlement, she somehow managed to secure a bunch of diversity, equity, and inclusion censures for 20 university administrators. Per the agreement, these bureaucrats will be attached to hiring committees for new university employees. They will receive a stipend to serve as consultants or participants in the hiring searches. The terms of Hannah Jones's deal also directed UNC to make a new hire for something called trauma-informed therapist within the multicultural health program, as if to signal atonement for Hannah Jones' claims of her mental anguish over the insufficiently generous hiring offer in the initial round. Another clause dedicates an annual payout of $5,000 to pay for meetings, events, and symposia hosted by an activist organization for university faculty and staff. So this woman, anybody else would have said, what a generous offer. I can't remember what it was. Her offer was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars per year.
Mm-hmm.
They give her a 5-year contract and the opportunity for a 10-year review at the end of 5 years, which is standard procedure. A very generous offer. Not good enough. So she sues. They drop their drawers and say, here's $75,000. That's not good enough. And then she comes in and says, you have to do all these different things that I'm going to dictate.
Mm-hmm.
I would have told her that you can go, where.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guarantee you this activist organization and all these things that they have to do. She's probably got tied to some consulting contract with some outside firm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the goodies will continue to roll in.
Bingo. Bingo.
And people think, hey, we need more money in higher education. Probably the position that she was offered originally. I bet she didn't spend. She probably would require her to spend 5 hours a week on campus, maybe.
Yeah. And it was, and in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you're absolutely right. Follow the money. I guarantee you, if you follow where the funds will go for this diversity training, it'll somehow be tied to some organization that Nicole Hannah-Jones has her fingers in.
Yeah, and people wonder why, why the rate of inflation for the educational system, for higher education, is what, 3 or 4 times what the normal inflation rate is in the last 40 years for nonsense like this. Because you got people without skin in the game just throwing out money that the taxpayers will subsidize.
My youngest daughter, she went to a private university here in the state, and she's in her mid to late 30s now and mid-30s. And it's doubled since she was in college.
Yep.
20 years ago. Doubled in price. Hey, we've got to get another timeout. Stay with us. Who will win between Trump and Biden? Who would win between Trump and Harris? New poll coming out. We'll tell you what the results are. We'll be right back.
We're on location today at Fabric and Home Furnishings in Arlington Village here in Greenville. One of my favorite people. We've got Lisa Pendry here. And Lisa, big news. You've been working on the store. It looks fantastic. You finally have finished the transformation of the store. You've got your Norwalk gallery open. Give us the whole story here.
We are excited. It's been a big process. It's taken us a while, but now all of our renovations complete, from paint colors to little elegant showroom areas to highlight everything we offer here at Fabric and Home Furnishings.
And we say that it's a furniture store and so much more, and of course that means you also have designers on staff. So tell us about that. You got some new folks.
I do. I've got some new designers that we've added to our team that can come out to your home, walk you through the whole process, help you as much as you need us to pull your home together.
And there's a big party coming on June 16th. You've got your Norwalk Furniture grand opening gala, and it's going to be a big party here in the store, and that sounds like a lot of fun. Tell us about it.
It is. We hope to have dignitaries like Henry Hinton.
I'll be here.
And PJ Conley is going to come, our mayor. Lots of fun people. All of my designers that shop here are going to be here in the community, and we're going to have some champagne and some hors d'oeuvres, representatives from Norwalk, and just have a big night of fun and festivities and education on what we offer.
I'll tell you, the store is packed right now. I know a lot of furniture stores are still having trouble getting inventory, but you guys have a lot of stuff people can buy right off the floor.
We do, Henry. We invested in a warehouse, and we've added lots of inventory so you can just have it delivered or pick it up the day you buy it. So lots of sofas, chairs, everything in performance fabric so you can enjoy your furniture.
And you started 12 months same as cash.
We did start that so we can help with everything that's going on in the world right now.
All right, Fabric and Home Furnishings here in Arlington Village. Don't forget the big party, the grand opening gala for the Norwalk Gallery, coming up on June 16th at 5:30, big ribbon cutting, and it's going to be a big party. So I'll be here. You need to be here too. Thanks to Lisa for the update.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Empty lots at car dealers everywhere, except here. The selection you want is at Greenville Nissan. And during the Nissan Thrill of the Drive sales event, buy a new Nissan with financing as low as 0.9%. The versatile Nissan Rogue, the all-new Pathfinder, or gas-saving cars like Nissan Sentra and Altima. And yes, we have trucks. Buy the new Nissan Titan with 0.9% financing, or the all-new Frontier for $99 a month. Hurry to Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
Now, folks, look, they keep talking about a pipeline, a magical cash pipeline, and that's not going to bring down inflation. It's not going to bring down gas prices. Only changing my terrible policies can do that.
Someone hacked the teleprompter. Turn it off. Turn it off.
The only cash pipeline that's open right now is the one that's dumping our money into Ukraine.
Turn off his mic. Cutting through the confusion to bring you clarity with Tom and Benny on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
The Hill is reporting on a Harvard poll. Latest numbers from the Harvard Capps-Harris poll. More bad news for Cousin Eddie, Joe Biden, and his administration. Americans continue to view the country's prospects under Democrat control less and less favorable. Things have evidently gotten so bad under Biden and Harris that one data point, a question about a hypothetical presidential contest, again shows that Donald Trump beating both President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. In a Trump versus Biden rematch of the election we're held now, 45% of registered voters picked Donald Trump, while just 41% picked Joe Biden. In the hypothetical contest between Trump and Harris, Trump wins again, bigger numbers for Trump, 47% to Harris's 40%, who performed even worse than Biden. And a blow to Nancy Pelosi and Liz Cheney's select committee billed as investigating the events of January 6th and transparently geared at hurting Republicans and preventing Trump from seeking office again. More than half of registered voters, 55%, said the January 6th committee hearings were not conducted fairly, and the recent news about a formal DOJ investigation into Trump's actions related to January 6th has led even more voters, 61%, to believe the probe politically motivated. Which is, that last little segment is really important because that's what a lot of Democrats are hanging their hat on, that this January 6th committee is somehow going to take out Donald Trump and elevate them. And if this poll is correct, and again, I wouldn't say this is by any means a conservative pollster on this, it would appear that according to this poll, it's actually backfiring on them.
Mm-hmm. Any reasonable person, Democrat or Republican, if they follow these January 6 hearings at all, I mean, it's a joke. It's laughable. Their big, 3-4 weeks ago, their big bombshell witness, her name escapes me. They made the big deal.
The woman that was working for Mark Meadows.
Yeah, that was speaking hearsay.
Yeah.
I mean, that was supposed to be their big bombshell deal, and I think that fell pretty flat. So I don't think the American public cares.
They're obviously not
buying
it.
They care the fact that gas prices is through the roof. You go to the grocery store, you got to take out a loan just to buy groceries, and that's what they're worried about.
Ron DeSantis was apparently invited to be a guest on The View.
I'd like to see that.
Well, Ron DeSantis basically brushed them off. They extended The View to DeSantis. His press secretary, deputy press secretary, Brian Griffin, shared his response. "Thanks for the invite. I understand you are sending this request on behalf of your team," he wrote in a message. "But are the hosts of The View really interested in hearing from Governor DeSantis about all the important work he's doing on behalf of Floridians to protect their health and livelihoods, to stand up for parents and children, and to defend freedom?" DeSantis' deputy secretary then asked, "Which of the below statements from the host of The View do you recommend our team consider when deciding if the interview would be the genuine pursuit of truth?" Examples: Joe Behar calling the governor a homicidal psychopath. Sonny Hostin declaring him to be a fascist and a bigot. Anna Navarro calling him anti-black. And Sonny Hostin criticizing his policies as anti-black history laws. "We will pass on this offer," Griffin wrote. "And please note, we don't coordinate appearances or events of a political nature from the official office. Our role is to serve the people of Florida." The View declined to give a comment.
Yeah. I've never watched a full episode of The View, but I did.
I don't think I've ever watched 30 seconds of it.
I did watch it one time when Bill O'Reilly was on there, just because I knew he's not afraid of them, and
he doesn't care what they say.
Whenever you doubt the fact that the United States is not a great country with opportunities for all, just watch The View. Because if they can make that has got to be the dumbest show in America. And if they can make the money they make and make a living doing what they do, America, if you can't make it in America, you can't make it anywhere, because they were stupid. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, but if the same level of intelligence were presented by conservatives, and which again that's sort of an oxymoron. But what I'm saying, if these women had their same level of intelligence, but they were coming from a conservative vantage point,
oh yeah,
they would. I mean, they couldn't get a job anywhere in any media outlet because they're not checking the right boxes. I mean, if you just want to get your blood pressure up, go watch Joy Behar. It's not only what she says, it's not only the stupidity of what she says, but it's how she says it that is so irritating.
God help her husband. He has to live with her.
Yeah. Is she married? I can't believe it.
I think she is.
Wow.
Yeah.
God bless him. Hey, listen, thanks for being with us. We'll do it again tomorrow at 5. See you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, all right, all right.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.